Welcome to I Want That, which is a podcast that focuses on the dynamic world of Disney merch. I'm entertainment writer Jim Hill, and on the other side of the country, 3 entire time zones away, is Shelly Valladolid, my partner in this podcast. Say hello, Michelle.
Hello, Michelle.
There we go. And we're recording the show on August 9th, 2019, which is the 50th anniversary of the opening of the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland Park. I forget, Michelle, are we particularly fond of the Haunted Mansion, or?
We have family ties to it. My uncle was opening cast.
Oh,
and
okay.
The Hatbox Ghost, which was in there for the first couple weeks, scared the big jabbers out of me when I was 2, and I had nightmares until I was about 8.
Oh, okay. In fact,
but I was really happy to see him back.
Yeah, though what was kind of intriguing just over the last couple of years, I mean, there's always been that debate in the fan community about whether or not Hatbox actually made it to the opening of the attraction. And it wasn't till, 4 or 5 years ago somebody actually found that home movie that
exactly.
Showed the
Tony Baxter
the
said
character.
I was lying. I love Tony, though. I do. Love me some Tony.
But the weird thing is, the story I always heard, he never made it through the first summer. That the illusion
didn't work.
Where they had a position just didn't work.
But where he is now, and the way they changed the technology, it's perfect.
Yeah. So, well, speaking of the 50th anniversary, the folks in Anaheim decided to really go big this time in regard to the 50th anniversary of this attraction. So they did a hard ticket event after hours, not just on one night, but on 2 nights. Technically 3 nights, because the event started on August 7th at 11:30 at night, and went on till 4 o'clock in the morning of the 8th. And then on the 8th, again at 11:30, and then stretching on till...
No, 1 a.m.
Well, I mean, they queued them up. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, yeah. But it was 1 a.m.
the event
to 4
itself,
a.m., 3 hours for $300, so that's $100 an hour.
Yeah, and, and look, in the fine tradition of when they do these sorts of things, they do all sorts of limited edition merch, and if you went to the event store, which was at the Disneyland Hotel, there were wonderful paintings there that Larry Nicolai had done, and
Kevin John.
And shirts and prints that Shag had done. In fact, you were saying
Shag was actually there. Yes, Shag was there and was taking pictures with fans, being his usual cool self.
Okay, and while we were pre-gaming, you were mentioning that you'd heard from folks who'd gone to the event, and they felt like they get their money's worth with all the special entertainment.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was there on, Wednesday, because it was my birthday, and they had these little kind of gravestone-looking booths with windows in them that were barred up, and it had a big purple thing on it that said Haunted Mansion 50th Anniversary, and I took my picture with one. But during the event, they had different spooks and spirits there. They had the hitchhiking ghosts at one. They had the lady with the umbrella, and I forget what her name is, but it was on the roster. The lady with the umbrella over the alligators, and they had the bride, and a bunch of other cool characters from the Haunted Mansion that you could pose with and talk to.
Well, and again, the day we're recording this, Disney is actually celebrating the Haunted Mansion's 50th on both coasts. They're doing merchandise events out at Florida as well, and of course, back in California. And in fact, it's kind of ironic that, that some of the high-priced collectibles that were offered at the event store, but the thing that people most seem excited about right now in regard to the 50th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion is the popcorn buckets that are on sale inside the park.
I heard they're magnificent.
Okay, and
so wait, is it just a popcorn bucket?
Well, no, that's what's kind of intriguing about it. It's actually, what they've done is they recreated the hitchhiking ghosts, but the gimmick is that there are actually 3 different food-related items, but they're all designed to, when you put them together, they make the trio that you know from the attraction. So if you want to get the full set, got to warn you, it's going to run you a little bit north of $60. your first stop has to be the popcorn cart in front of the Haunted Mansion. Here you can pick up Professor Phineas Plump, the popcorn. But yeah, see again, that
it's Phineas Puck, and yet it's not him.
There we go. See, this is where Michelle and I demonstrate that we are hopeless Disney nerds.
No, I have no life outside of this. I know that's not his name.
Yeah, again, if you go back to what these characters were called in the 70s, yes, it was Phineas Pock, P-O-C-K, as opposed to Phineas Plump. But
and
I have
Phineas
to say
Pock
that
was the Olympic hide and seek champion.
There we go, from the radio ads that
right, exactly
into the launch. Okay. Anyway, it's a beautiful sculpt of the character from the mansion. A blue ghost, gray tombstone, inscription on the back. Rest in peace, Professor Phineas Plump. His travel plans have hit a bump. But what's great about the way this is designed, well, first of all, it's the first popcorn bucket where you can't put popcorn in it. It's actually designed to hold that sort of cardboard sleeve.
Really?
So you place that inside. I think finally Disney smartened up about the fact that, those of us who collect these items...
We don't want to take them home and wash them.
There we go. Okay, so it folds out. You can place the popcorn carton in the back of the tombstone, so to speak.
Wonderful.
But it's so much more than the usual popcorn bucket. First of all, it lights up. It is a switch on the back. So the ghost lights up from within.
Like the Ghost Mickey a few years ago.
There we go. Not only that, but if you hit the green button that's on the base of this bucket, it then plays the Grim Grinny Ghost song.
No.
Yep. Okay. Now, if you want to continue your set, you have to head over to the Mint Julep Bar in Norland Square. Here you can pick up a plastic popcorn bucket-like figure of Gus the Hitchhiking Ghost. Only this 50th anniversary Haunted Mansion collectible isn't meant to be filled with popcorn either, but rather it's supposed to hold a bag of beignets.
Those are the best beignets, Jim.
Yeah, well, again, as a diabetic, I look at them from a distance, I wave, I appreciate them, can't eat them.
Alice and anyway, I will eat them for you.
You have to decide when you're buying your Gus plastic bucket whether or not you're getting a 3-pack of beignets or a 6-pack of beignets. That actually affects the price of the figure. If you get it with a 3-pack, you're paying $21.99 for Gus. On the other hand, if you get 6-pack, you're paying $24.99. And again, just like with Phineas, if you turn the tombstone around, you have an inscription as well. This one reads, "Here lies good old Gus, hitchhiking because he missed his bus." And then, finally, if you're looking to complete your trio of hitchhiking ghosts, your last stop has to be the Royal Street Veranda. Here, you pick up a sipper version of Ezra, the skeletal member of that ghostly trio. And this is the lowest priced of the group. This is $18.99. And what's kind of cool is the straw for your beverage is a flip top. It's stashed in Ezra's hat. So, and again, if we're getting all the inscriptions out there, you look on the back of his tomes, it says, "Dear departed Ezra Bean, unluckiest hitchhiker we've ever seen." So they're really leaning heavily into this whole hitchhiking ghost thing. I want to stress here because on a previous I Want That, I really kind of came down hard on the crew that designed the Steamboat Willie popcorn bucket, the one that was offered as an annual Passover.
The black Mickey balloon with the painting on it.
Yeah, I believe I described it as a third-grade art project. But this one, on the other hand, the sculpt of Phineas, Ezra, and Gus are great. I mean, it's a stylized version, but they are in fact on model. And when you put them together, side by side, they recreate the image from the attraction. And it's when you factor in the lit from within thing. I'm pretty sure a lot of Disney fans are going to wind up using these popcorn buckets.
I see women coming and buying, well, men too, but mostly I see women buying 40 of them and then selling them for $100 each on eBay. That's what I see.
Yeah, that could in fact happen, but on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised, especially out in Southern California, to see folks, a number of folks using these as, sort of Halloween decorations in their house.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like it's cookie level stuff right there.
Now, just to be clear here, that to get all three, your price point is going to vary from $61.48 plus tax to $64.48 plus tax, and that really, the issue there is whether or not you're getting 3 beignets, or you're getting 6 beignets, or you're like me, you're buying the beignets and handing them to somebody else. Getting back to the card ticket event, kind of nice about what they did that night is, as Michelle mentioned, they put up all sorts of decorations to sort of really put people in that Haunted Mansion spirit. And one of the things they put up was a recreation of the sign that Marty Sklar wrote, to recruit ghosts. That went out in front of the mansion in '63, didn't it, Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay. I've always loved the wording of this. It's notice all ghosts and restless spirits. Post lifetime leases are now available at this haunted mansion. Don't be left out in the sunshine. Enjoy active retirement in this country club atmosphere. The fashionable address for famous ghosts trying to make a name for themselves, and ghosts who are afraid to live by themselves. Leases include license to scare the daylights out of guests visiting the portrait gallery, Museum of the Supernatural, graveyard, and other happy haunting grounds. For reservations, send resume of past experience to Ghost Relations Department, Disneyland. Please do not apply in person. What I love about this is that, and again, it's 63. So, first of all, this is the walkthrough version of the mansion they're talking about here. The Omnimover, hasn't even been thought of at this point.
This is the part with the bride stashed in the fireplace that reaches out and grabs the butler, Bentley the butler.
There we go. And what I also like is that, if you that description, you have the Museum of the Supernatural. The
Museum of the Weird.
There we go. Okay, so that's what Rowley dreamed up, and
and Walt loved it.
Yeah, but if I'm remembering the story correctly, Walt felt that what Rowley had come up with really didn't fit in the mansion, but he eventually decided that we'll still use it. We'll just make this the pre-show, the sort of the cue before the walking tour. Does that ring a bell? Or
yeah, it does, but actually exit.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So
Raleigh Crump was Walt's favorite hippie. He had do drug signs up in his office, and Walt didn't care because he turned in good stuff and he did it on time and under budget.
Yeah, like that's what I've heard about Rowley. But again, getting back to Marty Sklar, Disney Editions was nice enough to send me a review copy of Mr. Sklar's last book, Travels with Figment, On the Road in Search of Disney Dreams. Marty died more than 2 years ago now. This back on July 27, 2017, to be precise. And this book was nearly completed when Sklar passed. So Marty's daughter Leslie actually reached out to a number of his colleagues at Walt Disney Imagineering and asked them to share their thoughts about their longtime mentors. So that's what's kind of cool about this book is not only do you have Marty's stories from actual Marty, but you've got a number of executives up and down the company who have chimed in with their favorite moments with Marty. And look, it's not a particularly thick book. I mean, it's only 22 pages. But on the other hand, there are genuine gems in here. In fact, hang on, let me grab my copy here. There's a wonderful story in here about the very first time that George Lucas went to Walt Disney Imagineering. and it reads as follows. In the early 1980s, we invited George Lucas to visit our Imagineering headquarters in Southern California to discuss whether we might work together on projects. We were, like the rest of the world, huge fans of George's Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark films, and George, we discovered, was a huge fan of Disneyland, having visited the park on its opening back in 1955. As part of his tour of our WED, now Walt Disney Imagineering, WDI, facility, George saw various models and artwork for projects under consideration. One that immediately caught his attention was a storyboard outlining how a motion-based simulator could allow guests to experience lifelike sensations like never before. George sparked to this as the ideal ride platform for a Star Wars adventure. Before long, Tony Baxter and I were headed to London to test ride the simulator system. The simulators were designed by a company that built flight simulators for airline pilots, but we instantly saw the potential for a Star Wars space adventure and returned home to brainstorm potential storylines. Of the various ideas we later presented to George, he picked the Space Tour Company concept as the best fit for Disneyland. The show developed, I wonder
what the other concepts were.
Interesting question. We'll have to dig around on that.
Anyone can find out, it's you.
As the show developed, George championed the idea of combining comedy with a thrill ride and the now classic storyline where something goes horribly wrong, and we get pulled into a heroic adventure. He also encouraged us to capitalize on ideas that could read quickly in our short story medium, saying, don't avoid the cliches. They're cliches because they work. Throughout production, George... again, George... that's one of the things I love about George. He puts the hay down where the goats can get at it. Throughout production, George would review film dailies with ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, the originators of the Star Wars visual effects magic, and check on programming for the motion base at Imagineering. George was on hand to cut the ribbon with a lightsaber, of course, at Disneyland in early 1987, and in other Disney park locations around the world. And he goes on to talk about how when they were working on the prequels, George felt it was time to update the attraction. And interesting thing is that Marty gives George credit for pushing for deeper audience interaction with this storyline, which resulted in the Rebel spy gag.
Oh, okay.
And speaking of deeper Star Wars interaction, Michelle, you finally got into Galaxy's Edge.
I did. I've been 8 times now.
8 times. Okay.
Last time I was on the Millennium Falcon, I got a score of 7,700, which for me is very good.
Wow. Okay.
Because the first time I got negative 310.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, can you talk... 8 times. Obviously, you're pretty familiar with the terrain there in Black Spire Outpost.
There's some background music now, and there wasn't at first, and it was like walking into kind of a vacuum.
Oh,
it looked really cool, but it looked like a bunch of sets.
Okay. I've heard
now that there's more music, you feel a little more into it, which I know. Walking around in real life, you don't have background music, but this really the music sets the tone. Most people don't even pay attention to the background music unless you're in Future World.
Well, again, this is a Disney merch podcast, so you've been 8 times at the... Okay, so yes, it's a bit, the bizarre is, hard to get through without opening one's wallet. But what particularly has caught your eyes when you've been, visiting Batuu?
Well, the stuff like the Coca-Cola and stuff like that in the grenades, those round grenades. So now they've got Coke, Diet Coke, and Sprite, and then there's a tall bottle of Dasani water. Tim McKinney photoshopped one and made it say Beverly in Arabish.
Okay. All right.
I love the interactivity of it. I spent my birthday going around with the Disney Play app and deciphering all the things. I'm not going to give away the story because do it. It's worth it and it's fun. The first time I was there, I didn't go into Doc Onder's shop because I couldn't see where it was. So the second time I went straight there. Okay. Amazing stuff. But you can't buy kyber crystals unless you buy a hologram or a lightsaber.
Now, you were telling me a story, I think it was your first visit there, where you encountered somebody who bought a holocron who didn't necessarily know what a holocron was.
Yes, and I kind of explained it to them, and they were surprised. And then when they put the cast member took the demo one and put kyber crystal inside and played it for them, and then they understood. And what it is you've got a Jedi holocron, which is the light side, and the Sith holocron, which is the dark side. And holocrons are items that hold the spirits of dead Jedi or Sith that speak to you. The Disney ones are a little different. You don't necessarily have to be dead. And the personalities are inside kyber crystals. These little, about 1.5 to 2 inch long crystals that come in different colors. There is white, yellow, purple, blue, green, red, and then there is a hidden one that is black. And you can get that by buying the red ones. And say if you put a green one in, you'll get Luke Skywalker or Yoda. If you put in a red one, you get Snoke or Darth Maul. There's no Darth Vader. There's no Kylo Ren.
What are our thoughts there? Is that something further down the line, or?
I hope so. Maybe when Rise of the Resistance comes out. But they really did a Buzz Lightyear on those. They really did. They didn't have enough.
Well, but the irony is that again, as you mentioned, a lot of the merch went clean in the first couple of weeks, and yet Bob Iger himself just admitted with the third quarter earnings call that maybe the crowds were lighter there than we expected, at least the first half. But
earnings were still up.
Yep. Yeah,
because of the merchandise.
Well, yes, but let's also remember that some of the merchandise here, whether it's the lightsabers at Savvy for what $200, and to build your own droid at the Droid Depot,
it's $100.
That's
for like Savvy's, because you can buy a legacy lightsaber from a character at Doc Ondar's for about $100 to $150. What you're paying for is the exclusivity and the actual experience. And then you have a great lightsaber. And my friend Tim McKinney worked out that there's like over 340 different combinations to make something like 300,000 plus.
All right. Okay. And, somewhere out there, there's somebody with a deep enough wallet to try that.
Well, all you have to do is buy 2 of each saber. When somebody's actually done this, you buy 2 of each saber, and each saber has completely different parts. And if you do that, you'll own 1 of every single part they have. They were selling the individual parts, but they're not anymore.
Well, again, that's actually a funny part of the story, because face it, the whole notion or the backstory of 2 or Black Spire Outpost is it's supposed to be this place where smugglers and traders are, constantly cutting deals, and Disney supposedly shut down the sale of these items because, again, people were turning around and putting them on eBay.
Right.
So it was like, hey, we have to shut down the scoundrels. It's like, really?
Those scoundrels ruin things for everybody else, so don't buy from them. Buy from Disney.
Okay. Now, again, you've been there 8 times. Is there one place in the bazaar in particular that you like going back to, or
the animal stall, the pet store, because there is a big loth cat sleeping in a cage there with its porg chew toy, and it's freaking adorable. Want it? They have little loth cats you can buy, but they're like $45. So I just asked for one for my birthday, and I didn't get it, so I'm going to ask Santa.
Okay, well. All right, duly noted. So,
and it meows and it hisses.
Okay. I have 2 real cats that actually do that already. So, okay. Well, I'm ahead.
Well, I'm sure Betty and Ginger would love a loth cat for a friend.
We'll see about that. So,
the one thing is, there's the character interactions are like they walk by you, or they're doing something, or like Ray's great. She takes little girls around and shows them how to hide from the First Order, but like Chewbacca and stuff just like walk somewhere and they go and they work on the X-Wing like they're repairing it, and people come up and they're ready for whatever show's going to start, and then they just walk off because there's no show. and there's no meet and greet area. Kylo Ren comes out, strangles a guy, and then just quick walks across the outpost with 2 stormtroopers. You can't take a picture with him or anything. I mean, he'll stop and ask to look at your data pad, and like me, he saw my necklace and said that I was, he liked my dark side or whatever, and then just take off. There is a real problem that the legacy characters aren't there. People are upset. And the way to solve this would be is if they did, the world within worlds, or the world between worlds, where anyone can exist at any time, and do that for a meet and greet. And I think people will be a lot happier.
Well, again, I think to be fair here, like every Disney theme park, you build it and you think, okay, this is how people are going to use it, and then the people actually show up.
Remember when Tokyo Disneyland was first being planned, they said Japanese men are not going to stand there on Main Street and eat an ice cream and drink popcorn. They just won't. And of course they did. They did, and they still do. Ice cream is universal, man.
That it is.
Even though we're talking about Disney.
But it again, I think in a year's time or thereabouts, especially, as Orlando gets open. In fact, they've just begun doing the cast member previews there, and
I'm hearing good things. And Tim and some other people have been sending me pictures and videos and stuff, and I really like their color scheme better.
Well, again, it's Florida. You really need to bump up the colors largely because, well, also, what is it? I forget who I was talking with Imagineering about this, but the Anaheim version is oriented east-west, and the Orlando version is oriented north-south.
So the lighting hits it different.
It does. So, we'll tell you what. We'll definitely keep tabs on this, folks, going forward, and Michelle will fill us in as they tweak things.
We did get a Kylo Ragdoll from the Toydarian toy shop. It's adorable.
All right, very cool. All right, folks, we'll tell you what. We're going to take a quick commercial break here, but when we get back, we're going to go from Star Wars to Star-Lord as Michelle unboxes something that the nice folks at Far Out Toys were nice enough to send us.
Getting ready to step into your career era? Set yourself apart with Adobe Creative Cloud Pro for students. Hone your skills with apps like Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, and more, powered with the latest in creative AI. Students save over 55% so you can build a portfolio you're proud of. Launch your future with Adobe Creative Cloud Pro for students. Visit adobe.com/students to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
Okay, and we're back. Okay, so refresh my memory again. This is from Far Out Toys Pulp Heroes line?
Pulp Heroes Snap Bots.
Okay.
Snap into action.
Mm-hmm.
Accessory included, pullback power. This is Series 1. This is a Star-Lord, and I'm opening it now. Mm-hmm. And it comes with a little case that's super flat because it actually, that's nice. I got Star-Lord from the comic book on the little folder that goes with it, and little, I don't know what those are. So yeah, he's out of the box now. And he has little arms, and he's made of a light cardboard, but his base is plastic. Pulling that, and he goes forward. Oh, that's so cute! It's Star-Lord with his mask on.
Okay.
And then there's these little things. I guess they hook over his hand or something. Okay, and then he folds flat and goes into this box. Pull it forward.
Okay.
You pull it. You don't push it.
Okay.
And he's flattening. And he's flattening. That's amazing. Now he's all flat. And he goes in his box.
Okay, do they mention what other characters they have with this line? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
They have Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Thor, Star-Lord, and Groot.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's a fairly decent representation of the characters featured in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, what's the price point?
I don't know. They sent it to me for free.
Ah, well, the very best kind of toy.
I was supposed to interview the president of the company. Oh, that's so cute. Mm-hmm. That is so, shut up, that's so cute. It folded up into the comic thing, and you can still roll it, but you roll the comic.
Okay, well, all right. Well, while you're rolling that, well, speaking of rolling,
I think they're about $12.95.
Okay, cool. Well, again, speaking of rolling, you just got some news about the Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney's Hollywood Studios, particularly, some special edition merch?
Yeah, for the 20th anniversary. My God, we're old, Jim. Mm-hmm. There's a T-shirt, a tank, and a pin, like, you'd usually expect for something like this. But there's also a set of 4 guitar picks, and that's really cool. They have that at Rock Around the Shop, of course, but also at Once Upon a Time. And those are exclusives.
God, the 20th, really? Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah, right?
All right.
That was Alice's first looping poster.
And while we're doing sort of, walking around the Disney merch globe here, you also got some information about some stuff that's now on sale at Alani?
Yeah, there are some themed dresses and outfits for adults, and they are Mickey and Minnie, Duffy, and Shelly May.
Okay.
Because apparently Duffy and Shelly May are pretty big at Alani.
Okay. And any word on price points, or...?
No.
All right, you got to do some homework here, folks.
I got to do some homework, too.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The last thing I have that I found today was that the NBA store at Disney Springs has opened. Mm-hmm. And there's Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy stuff, and Donald Hotshot stuff, which looks really cool. But do you remember the Goofy About Sports store at Disney Village Marketplace?
I think it's not exactly ringing a bell, though, to be honest.
By the little carousel.
Okay, that I know.
And then there was Minnie Mia's Pizzeria, and then behind it was Goofy About Sports. Okay,
well, again, I'm 60 years old at this point with 5 working brain cells, so I think the Goofy at Sports it slipped away at some point. But doubling back to the NBA thing, so this is the gift shop at the NBA Experience, which
Correct.
I guess is in soft opening right now on the west side at Disney Springs, right?
Yes.
Forgive me for asking this. Are you hearing the same things I'm hearing about the NBA Experience, that maybe, that this isn't necessarily
No, come on, spill the tea.
Well, no, folks who have gotten into this, and again, I want to say it's got a $30+ price point to enter. They're not all that impressed, that it seems to be, at this point, kind of a weird fit for, for Disney Springs. And, face it.
It wasn't part of the Disney Plus deal, was it? No, they bought that from baseball.
This is already kind of a tough corner of Disney Springs, because face it, Cirque has been down for, the better part of 2 years now. We're still waiting on that Disney-themed show that they were supposed to do. And, they were really hoping that, this would energize this side of that retail, entertainment, shopping, dining district. And,
how well is Wide World of Sports done?
Well, but Wide World of Sports is what it is. It's a sports facility. In fact, just today, news broke that Disney will be hosting the Special Olympics there in 2022. So, again, just the weird thing about the Wide World of Sports is that, yes, at any given day, the place could be empty. On the other hand, you can go there sometimes and every single field is filled with youth soccer.
Well, that's good. I meant the All-Star Cafe and such there.
Yeah, I just, what's intriguing to me is that, remember when there was the plan to build that giant a bowling complex there. In fact, with the notion that they'd hold tournaments and championships and broadcast them and all that. And again, that was part of the plan, the notion of, okay, well, at least if people are looking for something to do while they're at Walt Disney World, they can come here and bowl. And, that got announced. They did the site survey work, and then that just didn't go forward. So,
but now they have Splitsville, which is awesome.
Their
sushi is not very good, but their pizza's great.
Well, and it's interesting you bring up Splitsville because, again, think about it. That's on the west side. That does hand over fist business. But one of the reasons that does hand over fist business is that, think about it. When Pleasure Island,
it's themed and it has good food and it has fun bowling.
Well, but also when Pleasure Island closed and they lost all those clubs and those restaurants, the folks that are meeting at Walt Disney World or doing big family gatherings or that sort of thing had to go somewhere. And in fact, that's kind of the irony of the NBA thing is that they were kind of hoping that Splitsville NBA experience, two sports themed complexes. Side by side that, oh, God, these guys will do great business together. And, just early on right now, it just seems like NBA is like, uh-oh.
That's two different audiences.
Well, that may be true. But again, that's...
I think if they opened an NBA experience somewhere up north, like Chicago or Boston, I think it would do a lot better than if they did it down south at Walt Disney World.
Well, to be honest, if you go out to Springfield, Massachusetts, you have the NBA Hall of Fame here, which, they did the overhaul on...
Weren't you born in Springfield? No, you were born in Lowell.
Yeah, that's in a Massachusetts boy. But, but yeah, again, please want to be clear here. Don't, wish the folks that NBA experience ill, and I'm glad to hear that they've got some Disney merch that'll get people in the store there. But it sounds like they may have a tough row to hoe to sort of win folks over to and
when I first heard about it, I thought it was a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Well, in fact, I think there is a food component, but I'll be damned if I can remember anything about it. Which again, that doesn't bode all that well. Anyway, swinging back to merch, and we've talked previously about blind boxes. In fact, I think folks who listen to the early episodes of I Want That, remember how I'm not proud of this, folks, but my daughter taught me how to look into the DuckTales coin stacks. And so I could complete my collection without having to actually have the blind box experience. Because I want what I want. I don't want to buy 35 copies of something to finally get
that's, I'm not a big fan of blind box because it's essentially teaching kids to gamble.
Well, but here's the thing. Disney has just launched this Wishables line of plush.
Which are blind bags.
Yes.
They're so cute. They're so cute.
Okay, so they have a $9.99 price point, and let's see, we've got a Nemo line, which, again, these are supposed to key off of attractions, so this one supposedly keys off of the characters for Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage, because it brings Darla into the mix. There's also a Buzz Lightyear, a
Little Mermaid.
A Little Mermaid, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Haunted Mansion is the latest. Splash Mountain.
Now, what's kind of intriguing about this, and to, again, I'm fascinated by kind of, this is Disney using the heroin business plan. Because face it, they have, as you said, these Wishables are bagged, so you don't know what you're getting. There we go.
There's a set of 4. One is not bagged. Like for the Haunted Mansion set, Gus is not bagged. He's got his little ball and chain, and in the bag can either be Ezra, Phineas, the Hatbox Ghost, or the Bride. So 5.
And I have to admit, I'm intrigued by that because, face it, if somebody springs for the Ezra because they see it there on the shelf, and then wants to complete the set, suddenly they have to sort of double down in this this blind bag thing. They are cute. They are. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. You
know what else they have? They have one that's all Disney treats with little faces on them, like the Mickey bar. Oh my God, that's so cute! But I can't buy any of the D-lights because they just make me hungry.
Okay. But again, in the language with these, limited release, right? So,
right.
They're trying to create the artificial scarcity.
Like Vinylmation.
Interesting point.
Those were all blind box. Just about.
How are we hearing about, the sales, the acceptance? Is there any excitement?
They're good. I mean, people aren't like knocking each other over to buy them, but they seem to be selling pretty well.
Okay.
They're adorable.
Well, again, I guess it'd be somewhat ironic.
And the bag even says "squeeze me," so you can just feel around and see if there's a top hat or a bride's thing or a hat box in there, because follow the directions.
Well, in fact, that sort of bring the show full circle. That it'd be kind of somewhat ironic that there are people in the park today for the 50th anniversary of Haunted Mansion who were snapping up all of.
Yeah, there was a Club 33 event this morning.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So, well, anyway, folks, that I guess will do it for this time around with I Want That. If there are any particular areas of collectibles or merch that you'd like myself and Michelle to discuss on future shows, please let us know. In the meantime, Michelle, till we record the next one, where can folks find you online?
They can find me at micechat.com.
Okay. Anywhere else? Or?
Well, I've got the Pink Monorail podcast that I do with our daughter, Alice, and then pinkmonorail.com, which is under construction.
Very cool.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you something.
Okay.
I got the newest box from circa 1955, and one of the scents is We Once the Redhead, and it smells just like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wow. Okay, we talk about the California version or the Florida version?
The California version.
Okay, good, because the Florida version.
What?
Right, we're not going to do that.
And then the sweet is the chocolate cherry float.
Okay. Let's see. On my side of the fence, folks, podcast-wise, we've got Disney Dish with Len Testo. We've got Fine Tuning with Drew Taylor. We've got Universal Joint with Dustin Fuse. We have Looking at Lucasfilm with the amazing Dan Z. And, of course, Marvelous Disney, which I do with Aaron Adams. Tell you what, folks, if you would do myself and Michelle a favor, if you get over to iTunes and rate and recommend our show, we'd really appreciate that. And if you really like what we do here, if you get over to Bandcamp and subscribe, that would be incredibly helpful. I guess for now, that's going to do it. So, thanks for listening.
See you next time.
And we'll talk soon.